There was a story the other day on Johan Franzen. Chris Chelios had some things to say about it. Um, there's some stories swirling around about Mike Babcock and maybe the way at times he treated people. Ken, were you aware at any point in your tenure, did anybody make you aware that Mike was treating anybody in a way that wouldn't have been appropriate or abusive? What were you aware of?
No.
Nothing at all.
Well, I'm not telling you they didn't. I've been a manager for 22 years. I've been Scotty Bowman, Dave Lewis, Mike Babcock, Jeff Blashill, and now Tip. At the end of the year, I always do exit interviews. I started that at the beginning. So, do players not like their role, not like the coach, not like who they're playing with? Yeah, I hear that all the time. You talk about Johan Franzen. Johan. I can't speak for Johan. He came out. He was very clear. He thought Mike Babcock was a tremendous coach. He doesn't like him as a person. And I would say too that when you have a 23-man roster, when I was in Detroit with Mike Babcock, there were some players in that locker room that didn't like the coach. There were some players in that locker room that didn't really have feelings either way. And I know that there's some players in that locker room that thought he's the best coach that they ever played for. No different probably than when I played in 1975 to 85. It's just when you got to dole out ice time, and you got to go through your process, some people are going to like you, some people aren't.
You've known Mike Babcock for a long time. What are your thoughts on kind of what has transpired here over the last little while in regards to all the stuff coming out about him?
I'll keep my thoughts to myself. We had 10 years. He works. He comes to work. He works hard every day, and he was a tremendous coach. Over the course of 10 years, or I don't know, are you going to have some people that are not happy? Yeah, we're trying to. There's that fine line between trying to push people to make us better individually, to make us better as a group, and also obviously you've got to be on the right side. I think the most important thing is respect. Trying to make sure that you've got. We're all trying to find it, managers and coaches and players, to make sure that there's respect is the most important thing in our game.
Part of the stories is of guys, going through a difficult time, having breakdowns, things that they claim dramatically affected them. If that happened, is that something you would have liked to have been aware of at the time?
Yeah. I'm aware of everything. Okay, that's my job as the general manager. I'm aware of either firsthand, or certainly the trainers come to me, the team doctors come to me, the coach comes to me. I'm around the team on an everyday basis. So either firsthand or secondhand, for the most part. Not every detail, not every conversation. My managing style is, when the coach talks to the team, I'm not in there every day. I want the players to know that the coach is the boss. So, I'm not, when the coach has one-on-one meetings, whether it's the head coach or the defensive coach, I'm not in those meetings. So there's one-on-one meetings, and there's some team meetings that I'm not privy to every word that comes out. But certainly I'm aware of the message. I'm aware of the message that's coming from the coach on an everyday basis. I'm in the locker room before the game or before practice. I'm in the locker room after practice. I've tried to be available to our players through the years, whether it's the short time here in Edmonton or my 22 years in Detroit, to talk to the players. Pretty well every year I talk to players after the season. To get an exit meeting, to get their feelings on everything that's going on. So am I aware that there was some unhappiness? Yeah. But I think there's always going to be unhappiness. I don't care what your style is. But I'm not aware of some stuff I'm not aware of. I talked to Chelly because when Chelly was on Spittin' Chicklets, I guess, I don't follow it, but the timeline that Chelly, I told Chelly, I hold Chelly in the highest regard. I mean, he played for us for 10 years. He's a warrior. He brought him onto our staff as an advisor. He was an assistant coach with Blashill in Grand Rapids, and then he came to Jeff. He was an assistant coach for a year in Detroit. So I've got a long relationship with Chelly, and I just said to Chelly that the timeline that he laid out, the perception was that there was a situation between Babcock and Franzen on the bench, and the next day I came down and said something to the team. Both are true, but they're about 5 or 6 years apart. So when I did address the team one point in time, it was, I think Chelly retired in 09. Chelly said he was sitting in the locker room, so it's got to be 06, 07. And the Franzen Babcock was the Nashville series in 2012. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody understood the timeline was 5 or 6 years apart. So I did talk to Chelly. I haven't really talked to anybody else.
There was a report that in the Nashville thing with Franzen that the Swedish players came to you to have a meeting. Is that true?
About what?
About Franzen, about treatment?
No, I mean the Franzen that game we got eliminated. It was Game 5. When I came down after the game, I had a number of people tell me that there was a heated exchange on the bench, and we were eliminated. Always, whenever we're eliminated for 20 years, we've had a day off. The next day, I address the team as a group, and then I do exit interviews. So, did I have over the course of 10 years? 22 years. It's every. Have I had players in my locker room? Yeah. Doesn't matter who's coaching. I think it matters about respect. I think it's about. We can go all. I think it's about respect, and I think it's about making sure that we respect one another. Certainly, the manager-coach relationship, the manager-player relationship, the player-coach relationship, the player-player relationship, the player-to-training staff, medical people. I think all these relate to media, to the fans. I think ultimately, for me personally, I think back to what Ryan, it's about respect, making sure that that we respect one another.